Soldiers follow orders. Stop and think about what you're doing.
To the sad batch. Know your place, lab scrubber.
Femicide!
We're found inside a restricted zone. I'm in a tough spot, Chem. I won't report this, but it can't happen again.
So she's only a child. Chem, stop and think about what you're doing.
Spoilers will follow for last night's episode of The Bad Batch, as today we'll be discussing the changing personality of the clone troopers, and how Order 66 may in fact be wearing off on some of the clones, or perhaps have been less effective than the Empire initially reported. Let's get into it. Following the activation of the inhibitor chips, many of the clone troopers displayed drastic personality shifts. They became far more cold-hearted. This is highlighted exceptionally well in the first episode of The Bad Batch, where when Clone Force 99 returns to Kamino, they're granted with hostility by the Regs, clone troopers who are now more droid-like than they were before, as was explained by series creator Dave Filoni. All the way back in Clone Wars Season 7, he explained that once Order 66 was enacted, the clone troopers lost much of their personality, the inhibitor chips blocking out who they were, including some of their memories. They became far more droid-like, and much like the enemies they swore to take down, which is why the story of the clones is one of the most tragic in Star Wars. The inhibitor chips almost act as sort of a mind control implanted there by the Kaminoans, but this raises an important question that appears to be being addressed in the Bad Batch series. Is this mind control a permanent state for these clones? And did all of the inhibitor chips activate to the same level of efficiency? This episode seems to have addressed it, or at least began to address it. Bad Batch does so with the introduction of a brand new clone commander known as Captain Howzer. Captain Howzer is still notably loyal to the Empire and the regime that has arisen in the wake of the Republic. However, Captain Howzer acts far differently than many of the other clone troopers whose inhibitor chips have activated. It's clear that Howzer still has complete loyalty to the Empire still. However, the way he treats his fellow beings is far different than that of the other clones. So what exactly does this mean? As we've seen prior, the inhibitor chips causes a complete personality shift in all of the clones. They become nearly maniacal, obsessed with following orders, constantly repeating to themselves the sentiment that good soldiers follow orders. They become almost bloodthirsty. Captain Howzer, though, is not at all. This leads me into one of the biggest theories for Star Wars to date, one that would affect Order 66, and one that would reveal yet another layer of why Palpatine wanted to get rid of the clone troopers. What if Order 66 was wearing off on the clones? What if this mind control was not a permanent state, and that once the inhibitor chips were activated, they began to weaken over time, the signal not being anywhere near as strong as initially they believed it was. There's also, of course, the possibility that the inhibitor chips are activated on different levels, and that perhaps Captain Howzer did follow Order 66 and did eliminate the Jedi, but that it simply did not affect him as badly as the other clones. It did not cause this drastic personality shift. I don't think that this is the case though, and I do think that slowly over time, the clones' inhibitor chips will begin to become less and less effective, and I think we're seeing the beginnings of this with Captain Howzer. We've seen before that the inhibitor chips are not perfect. Captain Rex, in fact, was able to stave off Order 66 for a few moments, allowing Ahsoka a window to escape and giving her a hint at Fives and the key behind Order 66 and the inhibitor chips. It's clear with Captain Howzer that there is still some humanity left in at least a few of the clone troopers, even if his inhibitor chip is still intact. And this is a big change to the Star Wars universe, in fact, with it being revealed that Order 66 may not have been as efficient as Palpatine and even the Jedi believed it so. Anyway, my friends, what are your thoughts on this? And do you think that Order 66 could be wearing off? What do you think of the introduction of this brand new character in Captain Howzer? And do you think that this will play a major role down the line in the Bad Batch series? As always, my friends, may the Force be with you and have a great day.